Greetings, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Critical Podcast. My name is Jimmy Good, and I'm your host. And joining me, as always, is my go-to podcast compadre, Mr. Joe Lever. Joe, how's it going, pal?
Hi, Jimmy. Pleasure to join you again this week.
Joe, you got something on your face there, pal. What do you got there?
Only my favorite movie snack ever.
Red Vine?
Cherry Twizzlers.
Oh, Cherry Twizzlers. Oh, yeah, they aren't.
Poland peels.
They're not sponsoring us this week. So Red Vine and or Twizzlers, if you want to get in on next week's action, maybe you just contact us. Let us know, because that way.
Let's see. Are they their own company, or is there just somebody like Hershey's or something?
Sounds like a parent thing. Anyway.
I think Twizzlers is their own deal.
Maybe they're their own dude. They're their own people. We're gonna find out later that they're owned by like Pepsi or something. You know, they'll be like,
how did I know? The Hershey Company, Hershey, Pennsylvania.
There we go. Yeah, they're like, we're not just making chocolate, baby. Anyway, hi everybody. Welcome. We're shooting this old school today. Just Joe and myself. Levi might pop up later on, but we usually talk about video games, movies, TV shows, all this stuff, and we have a lot to discuss. Not a ton of time to discuss it, so we're gonna go through rapid fire. Well, kind of.
Whoa.
Joe, we've got
seizures. May be a risk of epileptic seizures, so everybody
That's true. That's true too. All right, so first off, Nintendo Direct happened last week, right after we got done recording. Of course it did. I'm just going to run through the announcements, and it's going to be okay. There's an Animal Crossing coming for Switch. Is everybody happy now? Congratulations. One of those characters, Isabelle, is going to be in Super Smash Brothers. Perfect. Another person for me to punch. Luigi Mansion 3 is coming out to Nintendo Switch. Luigi's Mansion 3, I guess people wanted that. Final Fantasy 7, 9, 10, and 12 are coming to Switch and more, along with Crystal Chronicles. Of course, they skipped 8. I don't know why, but 7, 9, 10, 12, that seems like a lot of Final Fantasy. They finally unveiled the rest of their online functionality, and they finally showed off the thing that I told everyone was going to happen, along with the Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee Switch bundle. They're doing a Super Smash Brothers Ultimate bundle. Why wouldn't they? Like, it just seems like a smart idea. You buy
the only reason I would want to buy one.
Yeah, and then you got like they've got a cool doc for it, Joe, where it shows like some like the original 12 characters, and you guys might be able to see, if you're watching, Ness right here is part of the 12 that I have. It's like I have the 12 of them framed up there, the original Smash characters.
I don't see. Move the camera. Move the camera.
I'm not gonna do it. Anyway, also we have some NES style controllers for Switch that are coming. That apparently I think you can only get one per account because they didn't want like scalping and stuff, and make sure. It's like an old school NES controller, Joe, like those little rectangles, but they're going to be wireless, I believe.
Really?
If you're really into that super thing. There were other things, but that's basically the stuff I wanted to mention. Also, not necessarily like kind of saying, hey, us too, but you know, the NES Mini and all that Nintendo stuff that they've been releasing has been doing quite well. Now Sony's getting in on the game with PlayStation Classic, so it's a miniature version.
I was going to bring it up. Wow, you stole that right out from underneath me.
I'm sorry. $100 for a small, old school, like little PlayStation that's coming with at least Final Fantasy 7. That just, it sells systems still to this day. Tekken 3, Ridge Racer, Type 4, and other things, and that's coming out on December 3rd.
Yeah, so 20 games pre-downloaded on the console, and that's all it's really good for, right?
Yeah, that's what it seems like for now.
Yeah, so you buy 20 games. It looks just like the original PlayStation console, only scaled down to a smaller size. It's got an HDMI port. It's got what? Are the controllers wireless or not? It comes with 2 retro controllers.
I'm seeing wires on these controllers.
That's what I thought I saw. But
yeah,
I don't know, Jimmy. It's only $100.
That's true. It is only $100. But for me, I got to see what those other 15 games are, because I didn't jump on those other things. I'm still waiting. And even though I have an operating N64, I want to see the N64 Mini. Like, I want to see what that one comes with, because that's the one where I'd be like...
007.
Oh, dude. Well, I don't know if that's tied up with Rare, because Microsoft owns Rare now. I don't know if that would be... They have to put that one on there. But like that, like Super Smash Brothers and Super Mario and Pokemon Snap, maybe, Pokemon Stadium. So many good games. Yeah, so they're doing that, and I wouldn't be surprised if this was just the first foray into this, where they do a PlayStation 2 classic at some point with Kingdom Hearts.
It's been so long since they've released updated console. They needed to do something to draw some attention.
Yeah, it seems to be that way. No, and a lot of people are joking and saying it's kind of like a cash grab. And you know what? To be honest, like we say with most all the stuff that you get, especially if it's a nostalgia play, of course it's a cash grab. All these are businesses that are like aimed to make money. And if Sony's like, hey man, we can make enough hardware where there won't be like people trying to get this so badly where they're like, we just can't find one of these minis. It's like, nope, we can make enough for everyone to purchase them. I think at that price point,
man. How dare they want to make money? How dare they?
Well, at that price point too, for 20 of those games on PlayStation, that's pretty good. Especially Final Fantasy VII, which you can get everywhere it seems like now. But it would be kind of nice to have that plus some other ones if you really enjoyed that original PlayStation.
Yeah, $100 to play 20 games on a cycle that. When I've got a brand new console with all these crazy new age games, I just don't. For a person like me, no, I'm sorry.
I know, and Joe, I kind of agree with you in that sentiment. Even though I was just freaking out about the potential of that N64, I feel like maybe there is this disparity in some gaming groups and outlets. But for us here, for the most part, we have a fondness for the past. But I think I'm always trying to look forward because there's so many people who are just like, I can't wait for this remaster, or I can't wait for like this PlayStation Classic. For me, I want to go forward. I don't want to keep looking back, because if you have one hand grabbing that branch of the past, it's going to be so much harder to get that one of the future and put both hands on it and then swing out, So that's just me. Yeah. I don't know if you got anything else you want to say about that.
No.
Okay, excellent. Fair enough. Out of all those announcements, though, Joe, what is the PlayStation the most interesting one to you, though?
Oh, the Smash Bros. Bundle.
Yeah. I'm excited about that. I knew it was coming, and I knew that like a lot of people were saying like, oh no, they're not going to do it. I'm like, of course.
I mean, I will say you called it. I mean, good foresight. I just have to draw attention to: are you having a Need for Speed moment out front of your house?
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. It's just Dom. Dom, hey bud. I know we're family, but come on, man. Come on now. Yeah, I said they could do some.
Corona's at the bar.
Yeah. Was that Dominic Toretto?
Corona's at the bar.
I was telling some family members this weekend about my new philosophy on family. Like I don't have friends, I have family, and they're like, "All right, say it like Dominic Toretto." I was like, "I don't have friends, I have family." It's like it's kind of hard to do the mumble growl.
Oh my god, I got you. I don't have friends. I've got family. I can't even do it. I've got family.
Yeah, that's pretty good. But yeah, anyway, that Super Smash Brothers bundle, I was telling people, I was like, you know what? If they don't announce a Smash bundle, I'll probably just do like the Pikachu Eevee one. But if I can get that Smash one, especially they have like the Joy-Con controller thing where you can put both the controllers in it and make it like a little controller. It's got like the little Smash symbol that cuts through, like the little cross slash. It's like that's kind of a cool little touch. So yeah, as a big Smash fan, yep, that's something I'm definitely interested in. All right, Joe, let's talk about something that's potentially going to be horrible, but I hope is really good. They just announced that they will be making a live-action Netflix TV series for Avatar: The Last Airbender. Now, it will be being helmed by the people who created this show in the first place, so thank goodness for that. But we've already had a shot at a live-action Last Airbender, and all I gotta say is it's given me PTSD, because I think about back in the theater, I was shaking in fury at how horrible they just destroyed this franchise. Like I always say, his greatest twist that M. Night Shyamalan has ever done is take a beloved franchise and make a lot of people hate it. And that is exactly what he did with that film. He just really just killed it. So I'm really hoping that Netflix...
seems like an odd film for him to do in the first place.
Thank you. It does. And now he's doing like a superhero universe. It's like, why? Anyway, but I'm excited at the potential for this. I think I really want to thank like Game of Thrones in a weird way, because I feel that Game of Thrones kind of came out and said, hey guys, we're TV, we're premium TV basically, but we're going to make it and make so many people interested and invested in our world. And we're going to put so much money and budget into this thing that it's going to be like watching movies all the time, but it's a TV show. Mm-hmm. I'm really thinking that a lot of people like Netflix, especially with the Disney stuff going on, are saying, hey, we're going to do that too. We're going to do the same thing. We're just going to be like, perfect. Let's do a live action, long running, hopefully series of Avatar and really put all the money into it. And they even talked about this with the producers, the directors, of saying like, you know what, we're not going to whitewash the cast. We're going to try to make it as faithful to that stuff and realize the worlds we built in the first place. And it's like Todd McFarlane directing Spawn. I think having the creators be those people at the forefront of this is the smartest play. Joe, what do you think?
Yeah, if your goal is to get accurate representations and do the character justice, by all means.
Yeah. So I'm excited about it because I love Avatar. It's probably one of my favorite cartoons. It's like bridging anime. It's like a Western anime, which I know doesn't really make sense, but obviously inspired by a lot of that. And I can't wait to see it. And I hope it's really good. We saw a little concept of it. And I was like, okay, that looks a bit better. Because, man, Appa looked, the flying bison Joe and M. Night Shyamalan's looked like this terrifying centipede creature. I was like, like it wasn't a very friendly creature. It's like,
what would that thing look like in real life?
Yeah, that's the problem. That's probably what he thought. He was like, what would this look like? It's like, talk to the people at CD Projekt Red about realistic looking monsters. Like, they know how to do it. But yeah, just want to touch on that for a second because I thought that was pretty dang cool. All right, Joe, speaking of TV series, and not to be outdone this week, Disney, there are rumors circulating right now that Variety reported on saying that Disney has decided to not only do a live action Star Wars film, but they want to do some live action live action TV series for all this stuff, but live action Marvel TV series for their streaming service, Disney Play. And the first two that did pop to the top are Loki and Scarlet Witch. So these would be TV series that are maybe 6 to 8 episodes long, probably just the one season of each, but with budgets that are like that kind of hefty, like they're saying, I think that's where they use hefty, but like HBO style, like lots of money put into it, amongst other superheroes. So my two questions for you, Joe. Are you excited about either of these? And who else would you rather have if you're like, all right, Joe, you get to pick the third one? Like, so Loki and Scarlet Witch, you stoked?
Totally unrelated to the Marvel universe?
It will be still in the Marvel universe. I think it'll just maybe at different times.
Tom Hiddleston before he became the guy we know?
Yeah. So I don't know if this would be like Loki in the past, like just like a little mini series of Loki doing stuff on Asgard.
Yeah, but Hiddleston will play him.
Yes. Yep. That was confirmed. Sorry, I forgot to mention that. Tom Hiddleston would be reprising his role as Loki, and Elizabeth Olsen would be playing Scarlet Witch.
I'm all in.
Yeah.
I'm all in. Pretty cool.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. You could do a lot with it, and you could jump around from like way in the past into the spot between maybe Thor: The Dark World and Ragnarok, where Loki kind of does some things and it kind of gets control of Asgard in a way. And it'd be kind of interesting to see what the ramifications of that are during that little time period. But I think only doing one season, if they do that, will really satiate a lot of fans who love Loki so much and would like to see him get a little more time to shine. I think Scarlet Witch is an interesting choice because I figured she was just going to be a mainstay and maybe be kind of a connective tissue between the Avengers and the X-Men. So I'm not really sure why she's getting a show. It's kind of like, is this how they're going to try to introduce Magneto? I don't know. But who else? Like, I thought of somebody immediately when they're like, hey, if you could have like a little
Winter Soldier.
Oh, dude, I didn't even think of that. That is oh my gosh, Joe, you nailed it on the head, baby. Just like 6 episodes of them just defrosting him doing a mission, and then just going back in. Like, throughout time.
The history back when he was over there in the Soviet Union.
Dude, and you do like one of those the Black Widow mission that she talked about in Winter Soldier where she got shot. Like, you do that episode in this show. I want that either in here or in the Black Widow standalone. I think it's cool, though, and I respect that a lot of these movie stars are saying, hey, you know what? If this is true, that they can go and do TV, because I think TV has really shifted. Like we're talking about here with like the HBO stuff and Netflix and all this stuff, putting a lot of money.
That's taking the place of real network TV.
Yeah.
Real network TV. I heard somebody talking about this on a podcast recently, but back when we were, say, teenagers, say early 2000s, mid 2000s, up until probably 2008, network cable TV your ratings had to be here. Nowadays, the expectations have dropped in half because there's so much competition with streaming services out there. I look at right now, I'm going down a rabbit hole, aren't I?
That's okay.
I'm going down a rabbit hole.
I mean, you often do, but
think about why the streaming services are so prominent and why Disney's investing in it and why Netflix has been such a big boom. Hulu now. People are looking for alternatives to cable. I don't like paying $200 a month for cable, internet, and telephone that I don't use.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? I'll just pay $10 for Hulu and HBO now and freaking watch whatever the hell I want.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And I think a lot of people and actors are saying, oh, hey, you know what? There are budgets and there are some really talented people working in that TV sphere, so to speak, right now. So it's not so weird to have like Henry Cavill kind of be like, you know what? I'm going to be the Witcher in a TV series for Netflix, or TV, I should say, a streaming service, because it's kind of operating in a different space. But, you know, most of the time we think of like these big name actors and actresses, like it's a step down to do TV.
Yeah, and call it a miniseries.
Yeah.
Miniseries, just like the show Godless on Netflix. Netflix original miniseries. The most amazing Western style anything I've seen in a long time. Like since the classics. And I couldn't even name the classics anymore. That's how long it's been since I've watched one. Godless, great. You know who's in that?
Well, Jeff Bridges. Wait, no, was that, sorry, Jeff Daniels. That's what it is.
Jeff Daniels. You were close.
I was so close. I was so close.
Excellent job. There were some other actors in there, Jack somebody, and oh gosh, I forget the main lady's name.
I know that it was one woman from Downton Abbey.
Yeah, her, and I can't think of her name right now for the life of me.
I can't either.
I apologize if you're listening, but
yeah,
anywho,
she's definitely listening. Hi.
They jump on a miniseries like that, and I think that was like an award-winning worthy show. I think it was amazing, and it was just a Netflix miniseries, and I think it was way better than anything I'd seen on TV in forever.
Yeah, I think the other thing too is I look at that and I look at like the Newsroom, which I think was on HBO, and that's where Jeff Daniels for me is like at the top of his game, and I think
he
just kind of
been. Have you never seen Escanaba in the Moonlight?
No, but like when I saw him when I was younger, it was just Dumb and Dumber, and to be like, yeah, it's like that was the role, and then he was also in Speed, and I remember thinking like, okay, who's this guy? He seems kind of dynamic, and now like seeing him in this stuff is like, oh. But what I'm trying to say is like they have these high caliber actors doing all of these like miniseries of these TV shows, so it's not surprising to me that Disney says like, hey, you know what, to make this, to sweeten the pot, sweeten the deal a little bit. It's like they're all playing poker and you're like sitting there and you really get to, you're the one who gets to flip that river, baby. Like you have the river card, and they're all just like putting stuff in the middle. And Disney's like, hey, you know what? How about this? We're going to raise you some Marvel stuff along with the Star Wars stuff. And then it's like, oh, and then there's like, you know, DC who's sitting there and they're like, maybe we should fold. Like, should we fold? Henry, Ben, and then it was just like, you know, and then they just starting to worry. Yeah, but I just maybe that poker reference wasn't perfect, but you know what I'm trying to say. They're all trying to win us over, okay? And they're sweetening the deal. And Disney's got rich blood, baby, and they're just gonna start forcing everybody out, especially if they own 2/3 of Hulu after this Fox merger. It's like, could they just shut down Hulu one day? There's like, done, you know, like, boop. I don't know. It's just something to think about. By the way, Joe, I looked it up, and the young woman we were thinking of, whose name we couldn't come up with.
Lady Dockers.
You mean Michelle Dockery?
Dockery.
Dockery.
Yeah, she goes by Lady Dockers on Instagram. That's how I know.
Okay. Perfect.
Okay.
I just wanted to make sure. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure.
Excellent in that show. Oh.
Yeah. I never went back to it. I think I watched like 1 or 2 episodes, and then I was like too sad. But I mean, Westerns kind of can be sad.
Jeff Daniels in that show, just holy crap.
Just watch Jeff Daniels in anything. This, Newsroom, Dumb and Dumber.
Walks a line there, and you're just like, what?
He's great. He's so good. Anyway, but the second question
is making this even more fun.
Good. I'm glad the Twizzlers are helping. Winter Soldier, I think, is a great shout out. I don't know if they would do like a Falcon. I'm trying to think of ones that are more plausible.
That we know nothing about, like Falcon. Where the hell did he come from?
I mean, he kind of comes out of Winter Soldier, so it's like, eh.
I don't
One that I
remember
would.
his intro though.
Well, remember he's like, he meets Cap running around one day, and Cap keeps running past him, and then they kind of bond over that, and then he comes to one of his like PTSD groups, and they talk about kind of like Sam runs that group, saying like, it's okay to say you're not okay and all this stuff, and then he helps him out, Cap, during the whole Hydra shield thing. Anywho,
where's the talent? Where does wing stuff come from and all that?
apparently he had that before that stuff. Like he said that he's like, yeah, I said I was a pilot. I never said I flew helicopters. Like, so he's been using this type of special tech for a while now, I guess, in the army. If he doesn't get his own movie, for the love of goodness, make a Ghost Rider miniseries. 5 episodes or 6 episodes. Come on, you can do it. And then have Doctor Strange in there somewhere. Ugh, but he deserves his own movie. Because I don't want them to budget out like Ghost Rider's effect. You know what I'm saying?
He deserves his own movie done right.
Yeah, you're right.
Come on, Marvel.
You're right.
If Nick Cage even sets foot on that freaking set, I swear to God.
He's too busy putting on the blue and red tights to be Superman. I was trying to think of another one that was plausible that they really could make a series about. And if Black Widow wasn't getting a standalone, I would say this is perfect. Make 5 or 6 episodes about her.
Watch.
Like that.
Sorry, I killed that. No one would watch.
Oh no, I think some would watch maybe.
I mean, if it's Scarlet Joe, yeah, she probably wouldn't do it.
Yeah, maybe not. I love that. I hope this is going to happen because I just love to think Tom Hiddleston's like, sure, man, I'll be Loki. He's like, sure, yeah, let's do it. Yeah, but anyway, if you guys have any other suggestions, like Ghost Rider, of course, comes to mind right away. I kind of wish that they didn't have the Netflix series going on right now because I'd be like, all right, just do 6 episodes of just Daredevil, and in each episode he runs into one with Jessica Jones, another one's Luke Cage and Iron Fist, and they have a Defenders episode, and it's just 6 episodes. Like, that's all it is. That would be great. But yeah, thought that was cool. Think it's gonna be man, that Disney streaming service sounds better and better by the day. Like I said, you just add those classic 90s cartoons on there, talking gargoyles, get some Darkwing Duck in there. Ooh, day one, baby. Day one. All right, Joe. Let's get into one of the main topics we have here today. We're flying today. Let's talk about 2 trailers that came out. 2 big old trailers. I didn't think we'd be seeing anything hide nor hair from this one. But
which one are we starting with?
We're starting with, well, because we were just talking about Marvel stuff, we got to talk about Marvel. We got to talk about Captain Marvel. Finally got a trailer, like a pretty good trailer. We finally got a look at this. I highly recommend for both these trailers, because we're talking about this one and Mary Poppins. You should probably go watch those, or you maybe listen to them. You should probably watch them though, because listening is confusing.
Watch them.
Check them out so that way you can understand what we are talking about. Anyway, Captain Marvel trailer. Joe, hit me with it. Initial thoughts. What do you think?
Do you know how much force it would take to crash through a metal deck on a Blockbuster retail store?
Dude, she's like Superman in this.
I know, but you know that. I mean, what does she weigh? Like 110 sopping wet? Like,
she's dense, Joe. She doesn't talk about it. I wouldn't either. I'd be like,
all right. Yeah, thoughts. I'm having a hard time putting it together. Is she an alien?
No. So, and I've had to look this up a few times, and our good friend Mr. Sunday Movies made a great video about this and kind of her past, along with Nick Mason. But basically, in the past, what's happened is Carol Danvers is a fighter pilot whose DNA gets merged through.
Say that one more time. Carol Danvers?
Yes.
Like Danvers from Supergirl?
Not to be mixed up with Kara Danvers, I believe.
But
I have to double check.
Same last name. Are you kidding me right now?
A lot of these people back in the day weren't very nice about the whole, like, hey, man, this name's off limits. And they're like, hey, man, you suck. Like, it was a lot of pointing and, yeah.
Dude, no. She's Supergirl, and we just don't know it.
She's better. Anyway, so...
Clearly, but she's her.
Carol, anyway, gets, like... and it happens in different ways, but it seems like what they're going with this one is that there's like an explosion that merges her DNA with that of a Kree's DNA, which is one of the alien races, the Kree, like the blue guys. Like think Ronan the Accuser from Guardians of the Galaxy, who's in this trailer.
Yeah.
And she gets some of their powers, and she just gets like amped up. She's got like super cosmic energy on top of all of that. So she has, we haven't seen it yet, but usually flight, super strength, super endurance. She's super duper durable. Shoots energy beams out of her hands, which you see a little bit in this as well. And she's basically the MCU's Superman right now. And she's apparently the most powerful superhero that has been in the MCU to this day. So that's pretty cool.
All because she touched a...
she was, I don't know how they're going to do it in the movie, but in the past, sometimes Marvel, who's a Kree warrior, gives her his powers. But in this one, seems like there's an explosion, like a cosmic bomb type thing goes off.
So why was Ronan such a wuss if the Kree are supposedly capable of being crazy warriors, strong people?
If you remember correctly, Ronan is actually not too much of a wuss, because you think of Drax the Destroyer and how quickly he kind of dispatched Drax in the first Guardians of the Galaxy. He just got hit with the Power Stone, and the Power Stone's OP. So what can I say? Infinity Stones, man, they suck. Except that time one. I love that time stone. Yeah, I bet they're just so excited to get rid of those. They're like, oh, thank goodness we can stop doing this whole like, where are the stones? But anyway, so yeah, that's her powers. But yeah, besides breaking into a blockbuster, and this is set in the 90s, I believe. What do you think? We got a young Nick Fury. We got young.
Yeah, sure. Sam Jackson, man, that guy just keeps on dishing it out. He's had one hell of a career, hasn't he?
Oh my gosh, yeah, he's had a crazy career. And apparently this is the first time that they're actually going to be using that de-aging technology throughout an entire feature film. So they're making him look like a 90s Sam Jackson.
He doesn't look that old.
I know he doesn't look that old.
The hair and mix of oh man. That's crazy. That'll be interesting. I hope it's done well. But yeah, other impressions and the 90s. I love that she's like a fighter jet pilot. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's so cool.
We get to see some flying.
Yeah, we totally will.
Yeah, I recently saw a video of a Blue Angel F-18 flying like 20 feet off of the surf at a beach. It flies across the face of a beach with all these people at the beach, and everybody's just like, ah, because it's just like, it's like right by them, and just
that's kind of mean. Why would he do that?
And they're all just like,
ah. Did they know this was going to happen? That seems pretty.
I mean, he knew. I mean, it was blatant right there. But people are pretty amped about it. But they were all covering their ears.
Be like whipping my suntan lotion at him. Be like, eh.
You son of a.
Yeah. But I think she's flying an F-15. F-15C maybe is what it seems like a lot of people are saying. So
wow, people are actually like calling
which
it out, huh?
Is an F-15 Eagle, I think it is, because F-16 is the Fighting Falcon.
Yeah, F-16 single turbine engine.
Yeah. The
F-18 is a dual.
An F-15 is a dual. Yeah, so that's the one she's.
F-15 is also a dual.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. But anyway, that's what she's flying. But yeah, that's really cool. I love that, and kind of trying to figure out her past. And like, I think the editing with this trailer is really good. There's a lot of like,
throws you around a lot.
Yeah, well, Sam Jackson will knock on something, it'll be like dun dun dun, or the lights will be like dun dun dun, like, and it all goes, or she like falls down 3 times, and it's like her as a kid, her as a kid, her as an adult, her as an adult again, and it's like.
Here's the thing, Jimmy. In all honesty, it's really weird, but well, what's weird about it? Nothing. Wonder Woman.
Yeah, love her.
A++, right? Great. We loved her.
Yep.
Good movie. Was a lot of that movie being great the fact that she was a woman? Well, I think a large part of it.
Yeah, well, it's just nice to actually have like the screen time devoted to a very powerful person who isn't just like running and screaming and being like, I need a man to fix this. She's like, nope, all the men are going to follow me into no man's land.
It throws that typical stereotype into the trash and says, look at me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of liking that vibe from this movie as well.
Yeah, for sure. I
also like that it's a little bit different of an approach, and it's not like a mythological approach. So it will have a major difference from Wonder Woman. I'm all about it. I like Brie Larson. I think she fits the role well. She's not too much of a sex symbol. I mean, she's gorgeous, don't get me wrong, but she's not too much of a sex symbol. Like, ooh, look at me in my tight suit. It's like, man, look at her in her tight suit. She seems pretty badass.
Yeah, she does.
So I think it's got all the right ingredients. I think they're simmering nicely. I'm just going to give you a ranking for it right now. I know we kind of just jumped through it, but I mean, watch the trailer. It's cool. It jumps around a lot, so it's not like I mean, you can piece it together a little bit by bit, but it kind of throws you around to where you can't quite understand the story too much. You can tell it's like a little bit of flashback this, flashback that, and the development to her. So it should be really good. I'm going to rate it. It's probably a strong 9.5 for me.
Oh, jeez.
I'm liking what I'm seeing. I think it's probably the one standalone Marvel movie that I've been most excited for in the past since Iron Man.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of where, like, for me, what was it going to be? I remember thinking like Black Panther. I was interested to see how they were going to pull that off. Just because not only are you kind of doing something that you haven't really seen too much before with like a primarily all black cast, which, they should have done earlier anyway, but like introducing a new world in Wakanda. Now it's like, all right, let's play with the 90s and bring this individual in and finally give a woman her like an entire movie just to her. And I think of all the superheroes they could have picked for this, she's the best one to do it because she's like so freaking strong and she's interesting and cool and she's got this nice tie into the cosmos and all that space stuff. And I really think that's a really smart move from them. I've heard a lot of kind of parallels being drawn between this and maybe like Terminator 2 for inspiration. So if you see any of that kind of in this trailer, that is definitely intentional. So I don't know. I just think there's a lot of potential here. I'm trying to think, Joe, if there's any other single movie I've been as excited about. No, I think this one, honestly, after Wonder Woman, I thought, all right, that is DC being like, hey, Marvel, let's go. And Marvel's like, yeah, we're working on it. It's a little bit different than yours, but we're working on it. So, yeah, I'm excited for this one, man. I'll say I'm at like 8.5, 9.
Really?
8.5 or 9. That's pretty high. That's really high.
How about 9, maybe more?
I want to see more of the villains. I love that she punches that grandma, and I don't know why the grandma is the main villain, but I'm excited to see her punch an old woman.
She probably baked some crappy chocolate chip cookies.
Yeah, for sure, man. No,
I don't piss anybody off.
I love the titles for some of these like headlines. It'll be like, "This is why Captain Marvel punched that old woman," and it's like, if anyone watched the trailer, and I mean, maybe people don't know about the Skrulls, but it's like, it's not like Wonder Woman comes from space and it's like, gets on a train, and then it's like, you.
You mean Captain Marvel?
Oh, sorry. What did I say? Wonder Woman? Oh, God.
I love it.
Thank you.
Captain the same. They really are. No, I'm kidding.
I'm thinking of Gal Gadot, and that's why she sets the bar so high.
She does.
Captain Marvel. Is
Gal Gadot too much of a sex symbol? No, it was all right.
Yeah, they didn't really do that too much. I'm trying to think back to like, she was pretty classy in Batman vs Superman. She kind of had like the nice dresses on and stuff.
The most you see out of her is a lot of leg,
Really, they make like Lois more of that because she's like naked in the bathtub and stuff. It's like they could have easily had,
even though she like flatlines me, like and not in a good way.
Yeah, exactly. I was gonna say, yeah. They could have easily done that stupid email scene with Gal Gadot in a bathtub, like looking at the computer and being like, but they didn't do that. But anyway.
Wait, was that mean? God, I'm sorry.
No, you're being honest, Joe. No, I feel bad. Well, okay, Amy Adams, guess what? Here's something for you. I loved you in Enchanted, and I also loved you in Arrival. Good job. Those were very different films. Yeah. I think Enchanted's the one I'm talking about. I hope so. Anywho, Captain Marvel, though, I'm really excited about it. I love that we're finally getting this, and this is something I've been like screaming to the heavens about for a long time. When Scarlet Witch got introduced, I was like, finally, we're getting someone in the MCU, a female superhero, because like who has actual superpowers. Because Black Widow to me has had like no heart or emotion. She has no powers yet. For some reason, no one can kill her. And it just is always surprising to me that she survived. Yeah, I don't, but still, like,
I know.
and I want to see her. I want to see Captain Marvel get a cool film and then also come into Infinity War and just punch Thanos right in the freaking face. Like, how glorious is that moment going to be if it happens? Just whoom, be like, oh my God. Like, it'd be so cool. And that cool moment where she's got the helmet on and she's got like the crazy mohawk thing, which is very comic inspired.
What that is.
It's very comic inspired. Like, there are versions, Joe, where she's got like the mask, like a mask, and then she has like her hair like up in a mohawk. So I think they tried to pay homage to that without saying like this is her look right away. Like, they're like, all right, we're giving you like the classic. They're also giving you like a little nod to that too when she's in her like a spacesuit or whatever.
Yeah, but
like,
so here's the thing: she has Kree power.
Yeah.
Thanos has easily encountered Kree before. No big whoop to Thanos.
Yeah.
Thanos is like, whatever. I beat the shit out of the Hulk yesterday.
Yeah. Yep. True.
How is she gonna? I mean, I understand she's powerful, but how does she rank compared to a Thanos?
So we're talking Thanos potentially without the gauntlet. So we're talking Thanos again, where he's kind of fighting Hulk, not using his gems and whatnot. I'm gonna say that at a base.
Where is the gauntlet?
Gauntlet was like fried, like on his hand. Remember? I don't know if it's still like functioning or if it just sent the gems away or stones away. Anyway, let's just take Thanos by himself.
Yep.
I'm gonna say that right there. I think Captain Marvel is gonna be like just a little bit stronger than base Hulk, than base regular, like just the start fight Hulk. You know what I'm saying? The beginning of a fight Hulk.
Okay.
So
when he's only disgruntled.
And teaming up with other people, because when you look at that scene back, on Titan where they're fighting Thanos and it's like all of them together, besides maybe Drax, Iron Man a little bit, and Spidey is obviously very strong too. You don't have someone who's like incredibly like Supermanish levels of strength, like right there always. It's not like Hulk has to build to it. She's already like, yep, I can just stop a punch, be like. So I think she's going to be a little stronger than he is, especially without the gems. But yeah, I'm excited about it. I think it's going to be really cool. I just want to see more of the villains. I want to see more of this because you're right, Joe. They shoot this trailer out of order. So you're kind of like, oh, she's confused and she's not sure. She's had her mind wiped. Maybe she's been kind of a bad guy for a while. You got Jude Law in there. We're still not exactly sure who he is. He could be Marvel, but he also could be Yon-Rogg, who's like this enemy potentially. So we're not really sure. And Ronan's back.
Good that we're not sure.
Yeah.
Good job of like, here's just some salt to sprinkle on your food for a little flavor.
Mm-hmm.
But you're not going to get the dessert quite yet.
One of my favorite things they did is they didn't do that stinger stupid thing all the trailers are doing nowadays where it's like they show 3 or 4 seconds of the best part of the trailer in the beginning and then put the name like Captain Marvel and then they show you the trailer. Like they show her spaceship and her falling like out of space, landing, goes through the blockbuster. You're like, oh, I immediately know the time line it is. Like, oh, okay, cool.
Oh yeah, that's smart. But so she has a spaceship. Why does she have a spaceship?
Well, she uses a spaceship. I think she can still fly in space, but I don't know if she got like jettisoned out of a pod. Maybe she was like in another spaceship and she got shot out of it.
See, I'm so confused. She's not an alien. Why does she have a spaceship? She
was in space for a while, and I'm not exactly sure how she gets to that point. At least in this version. There are different versions where it's like she starts with like
an SR-71 and she got beamed up when she was in the outer atmosphere of the Earth, right?
Exactly. Like I know in Earth's Mightiest Heroes, I think it was like she was working with the government and then Marvel, this Kree warrior, like started working with them too, and then she got like he gave his powers to her, and then she joined SWORD, which was basically SHIELD in space. So we'll probably see the formation of SWORD in this film, or at least it might be already going on by that time.
Okay.
I'm not sure. So it'd be like a big spaceship, and it just like tries to stop interplanetary threats.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm excited about this. I think it's gonna be cool. I want to hear her talk a little bit more. There's a lot of Sam Jackson talking about just like war is a universal language and all this stuff, and I'm like, yeah, I can see why they got him. And more Phil Coulson.
It'll be good.
Yeah.
And it's the 90s, man. That's us.
That's us. I know it's you and me. That blockbuster, I was like, immediately, it's already like, hey, Jimmy, remember this? And I'm like, I do.
Blockbuster.
You and your dumb nostalgia. We talked about letting go of the past, but
Shame
movies,
on them.
they prey on it, man. They
Take
prey
my
on it.
money already. Take it.
And it was said pretty well. I think this is the first movie after the Captain America: First Avenger to be set in that timeline, which is crazy to think that like Captain America set like in the 40s, and then nothing. We haven't really seen too much in between that and like the
current
90s. There have been little like flashbacks, like an Ant-Man to like
Sure. Yep.
Hank Pym and that stuff in the 60s. But yeah, interesting. But we're excited about it. We're stoked. I can't wait. I just want to see this. I want to see more Brie Larson. I want to see her just destroying people and kicking butt and taking names.
Right.
And yeah,
right there with you.
Yep. Cool. All right, Joe.
Jimmy, before we move on, I know the next topic. I'm excited for it. I'm really ashamed that I have not seen it to discuss it. I'm really ashamed. But
next topic. Is it a trailer? We got to briefly talk about Mary Poppins just for a second.
I thought we talked about it. Oh, God. My bad. Wow, we really got hung up on Captain Marvel, didn't we?
Well, she is incredible. I mean, just you look at her and she's got all those powers and she's a fighter pilot and she could beat us up even without the powers. Anyway, and yeah, by the way, we confirmed it. Yeah, I'll probably have a crush on Brie Larson from now on. Dang it. But anyway, we'll talk about for just a second. Mary Poppins. Okay, Mary Poppins is a demon. Let's just get it out right now. Like she has too many abilities, and that shot of her jumping into or falling into the bathtub, Joe. I know we talked about this before the show, but it's really sticking with me right now.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure her eyes turn just glare black, and she dives backwards, and there's a forked tongue in there somewhere.
Besides that, though, I think this does really truly look like a wonderful follow-up to that film, the first one, and kind of a throwback to how old school, Disney used to be in Hollywood, and that's kind of how Christopher Robin felt a little bit as well. But there's a little bit of that old school animation, which is great. I don't know how well it will play in the full thing, but I think it'll be good. And honestly, Emily Blunt, I know you're married to John Krasinski. You guys are a power couple. But I just think you're swell. All right, you killing it, lady. You can sing, you can act, you can do this, you can do Sicario, you can do it all, lady. Like I think Emily Blunt is one of the best actors working today. I think she's just fantastic. I think she was a good choice for this too. If you can't get Julie Andrews and you don't de-age Julie Andrews for this whole film, so yeah.
Emily Blunt married to John Krasinski from
The Office, and
what's the recent movie?
Quiet Place.
A Quiet Place.
He's also in the Jack Ryan TV show. I know because I got a box from Amazon today that had his face on it. It was like, hey, you should watch your Prime Video, dude.
Yeah.
Which I've heard is pretty good.
I'm sure it is.
Yeah, I think it's cool. I mean, it's got that kind of, I feel like there's a subgenre of films where it's like sad British reality meets like high fantasy film, where it's like, oh, it's such a sad, depressing setting in old Britain where it's raining all the time, and it's like, but then something fun comes through the door, and it's like, yeah, like I feel
I'm gonna steal your soul and eat your children.
Yeah, it feels a lot like Hook, man. It feels like Hook all over again, where it's like, oh, the kids grew up and they got to go back to
the animation. The animation alone is gonna kind of throw you for a loop. Like it's gonna be. I mean, she spins the bowl, and then the legit, like, I'm sure it's computer because it's quick and easy, but it looks like legit, like, animation that they would draw back then. It's cool. It's
I appreciate it. I don't know if I liked how the penguin looked. It looked a little too modern day edgy-ish. I know it sounds stupid. If you go look at that penguin, it doesn't look like
is way too edgy.
I mean, it's not edgy, but there's a weird edge to the back of him, the feathers or something. There's something off. Just do it the way the old ones were. Yeah.
You're ruining the penguins.
I would love to just tweet at Disney every day and be like, change the penguins. In no context.
Jimmy's at the movie theater. Those goddamn penguins!
Like the Christopher Robin movie, because that's like the trailer it plays before. All these kids are like, Mommy?
They effed up the penguins!
Yeah. Yeah, anyway, I think it's going to be good. Cool to see Dick Van Dyke in there. Angela Lansbury, a legend. Love her. If I had a pirate ship. Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. I was going to say, if I had a pirate ship, Joe, I would name it the Angela Lansbury. Colin Firth is also incredible. I wonder how much screen time these people are going to get, but it's going to be a musical. I hope they all get to sing.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
musical, yeah.
I know it's kind of not maybe a cup of tea, Joe, but yeah, could be
I saw
good.
Mary Poppins the play.
Was it good?
It was very good. Very good.
I think Mary Poppins, it worked better as far as like that effect of her coming out of the sky in the old movie, because you kind of just, she comes off, screen, off the shot, and just kind of floats in. And this one, it's like you see her like as a dark shadow in the clouds. It's like she's back. Like I just feel like you could make this a horror trailer just so easily. It's right there.
Yep.
But
demons come from above, Jimmy.
Yeah, I know. God. But yeah, Joe, I don't know if I'll see this in theaters, but I did want to talk about it just for a second because it's interesting to see Disney kind of continue this trend. I just don't know what's next. I don't know if they'll do another continuation or if they'll do like a complete like reimagining like they've done with Cinderella and stuff, or just kind of the live action take. I don't, besides like Lion King's coming still, I don't know what's next for them. I'm not sure. One day, oh my gosh, I know it. Oh, I just saw into the future 10 years. They're doing a Frozen live action. Like it's gonna, oh my God, they're doing it. It's making billions of dollars. Yep, 10 years in the future. I'm calling it right now. They're gonna do a Frozen live action film. You mark my words. It's gonna make insane money. I know it seems a little early for that, but anyway. Joe, any closing thoughts on old Mary? Miss Poppins there?
Nothing off the cuff, pal.
Cool. Oh, by the way, Julie Andrews cameo, yay or nay? Do we think that's going to happen?
No.
Dick Van Dyke's dancing in it. I think she's gonna. I think she shows up at one moment. I think she does.
She sure reprised her role.
Yeah. I also like the fact that they just go right in and just that Emily Blunt is Mary Poppins. Like they don't do the whole like, oh, you look a little different. It's like, nope, you haven't aged a day. They just kind of move on.
Why Mary Poppins? There's plenty of women that have played Mary Poppins in a play that could probably do the role, and they would be no names, and they would be skyrocketed to stardom.
I agree with you.
Come on, Disney.
However, Emily Blunt,
hardworking actor a bone, would you?
Emily Blunt though is really good. But yeah, you're right, Joe. Some of those stage actors, man, they work really freaking hard.
And they're
My hat's off to them. Hats off to them, Joe. All right, let's move on.
Oh, all right. Let's move on.
So,
okay. So remember earlier on in the podcast, Jimmy, we were talking about budgets of these miniseries on HBO, Netflix, etc.
Oh, yes.
You want to know what the final season of Game of Thrones is estimated to cost per episode?
I know that the running joke or the running kind of like smirk about it was that each episode costs more than like the first season.
Yeah, see, this is
live reporting, folks. Live reporting of things you don't necessarily care to know about, but I am actually very interested.
Some people do.
I'm interested. I always love talking numbers.
I was trying to see like what an episode of Game of Thrones costs as opposed to like a blockbuster movie. But they're saying here like about 15 million an episode. I feel like that's light, but
no, that's per episode, that's insane. That's a lot. I think like the first season alone was like 7 or something, so maybe that is true.
So comparatively, how much does it cost to make a Marvel movie?
Well, it depends, but I mean, you're looking at like 200.
Yeah.
And
so like Big Little Lies, Nicole Kidman and Reese Witherspoon are reportedly making $1 million an episode.
Yeah, that makes sense because I look back at like Friends and at its peak, they were all making $1 million an episode.
That was when network TV mattered.
Yeah, for sure. That's what like it peaked, and then it was like, I wonder how much they're making on freaking Frasier. How much was Kelsey Grammer was making? Kelsey, please, I would love to be in the continuation. You can call me, you can just leave a comment.
Oh yeah, here we go. They talked about. Yeah, so season 7, the budget got up to, I think the final episode of season 7 jumped up to 12 million.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
It started at about 2.5 to 3.
Do you think some of that was like not necessarily just the actors, but like the profile of the show where they're like, all right, we can start putting more money into the budget and doing all this, and maybe some of the actors were saying like, hey, let's renegotiate our contracts and stuff like that.
I think both a little bit. I know Amelia Clark makes a pretty penny for her episodes.
Sure.
But I still don't think it's like Reese Witherspoon, Nicole Kidman level.
Yeah. That's different. They've been around for a long time doing
as
stuff.
the seasons went on and as the story developed, they had to start doing bigger and crazier things because obviously it starts to get crazier, especially after season 1. And the whole dragon thing becomes a big deal, and the CGI starts to become more and more of a requirement. The settings, the sets, etc. Some of the castles that they haven't been to before that they have to create. And it's awesome to see how they do that stuff. Like, it's absolutely unbelievable. I mean, it's kind of like Lord of the Rings style. I mean, you can go to these places and see old sets just withering away, kind of a thing, you know? Damn.
I bet one day if I ever watch it, I might like it, but I've heard it's very depressing, and I'm not really into that.
It can be. It can be, but it's still
My escapism isn't about that, Joe. I watch some reality TV as well, and that's depressing enough for me. I'm like,
yeah. No, I think you will. I mean, there are depressing points, but you're kind of rooting for a side here and for certain people. And thus far, that hasn't let me down. I have a fear that it will in the final season, but who knows? We'll see. That's all part of the game.
Of Thrones.
Of Thrones.
I did it. I'm just cheering for Ned Stark. Ned Stark all the way. Let's do it, Eddie.
He'll make it, man. They'll kill them all.
How is Ned a fantasy name? Is anyone else bothered by that? I'm sorry. I just think about it. It's like
Nedrio. They call him Nedrio.
Welcome to the magical lands of Game of Thrones, and here's Ned and John. It's like, oh God, like
it's very.
This is Littlefinger. It's like you guys aren't even trying anymore. Like, get it.
Okay, so other fact I had that sparked in my mind when we were talking Marvel and the whole space ties to Captain Marvel. Space. If you really think about it, Venom could be really suited for the MCU as it sits now.
Yeah.
Think about it. If you look up, there's so much cool stuff online that you can look up at the origin of Venom or the origin of the symbiote. It all traces back to some
space.
What was the guy? It's like the symbiote planet. The guy created a sword that he called Darkness or something like that.
Yes, it gets really nuts. Now
he was so powerful he could slay gods or something like that. It was crazy.
Yep, they just released that information because it used to just be like there was a planet full of symbiotes, and now you're like, yeah.
Now you know how the planet of symbiotes was created, and all those symbiotes rebelled and locked them up.
Man, Peter being in space is all you need, and it's just so close.
He's there. He was.
Anyway,
of course he's dead now.
They're all dead. Everyone's dead. Marvel's over. Disney's
out. I urge the listeners to go check out Origins of Venom and that whole symbiote planet and how it was created and who the guy was that did it and all that. It's interesting. It's really cool.
I also recommend that they just, you know what? If they got a lot of problems with the Guardians right now, maybe you swap out Drax for old Agent Venom. There you go.
Oh, God.
That's all I'm trying to say. I mean, we need Eddie Brock still first. It's going to be a ways out, but still. That's all I'm trying to say.
God, you can't do this to me.
All right, Joe, we're moving into this. We got to talk about this. I'm going to flip the old spoiler switch here in about 5 seconds. But no.
There's a big hint of to how much he cares.
Oh, God. Okay. So, as we always do here, when we see a movie, we like to talk about it spoiler-free for just a few minutes, and then we can dive into the spoilers. So that way, if you want to still see it, then you won't have anything ruined, and there's timestamps down below, because I don't want anyone to be like, oh, crap, like I didn't want to hear this. So there's your free, fair warning. We're going to be talking about everybody's favorite film, The Predator. I saw it. Joe did not. I don't know if a lot of people saw it. Joe, I don't know if you can look up numbers for this right now. I don't know how they did at the box office. But basically, quick, synopsis of the story without spoiling stuff. Predator comes to Earth, is tracked by a super predator that's coming to kill him. People get in the way. People die. that's the basic premise. We follow some army sniper who happened to be in the area when the Predator crash landed, and he thought it would be a really good idea, oh goodness, to take the Predator's one of its helmets and an arm gauntlet and mail it back to himself stateside, because that way people would believe him, because he thought it was going to be a big army cover-up because the Predator killed a few of his men. Of course, the package gets home, doesn't go to his P.O. box because he hasn't been paying it for a while, goes back to where his ex-wife is living and their son. Their son has Asperger's, but he is able to kind of decode some of the abilities, puts the helmet on, learns some of the Predator stuff, and throughout all of this, you get a Predator, the first one that comes to Earth. It's been captured. Olivia Munn is the scientist they bring in to kind of check out and figure out more about the Predator, because apparently it has human DNA, and that is confusing. But
wait, pause. Take a step back, cover that one more time.
Olivia Munn is brought in because she's a scientist, a biologist, because they find a Predator, the one that crash landed, and it is showing signs that it has human DNA in its blood, and they don't know why. And they want to know if it's like a human copulated with the Predator or whatever, because that is a hilarious joke. Which is not the case. Anyway, so Predator wakes up, kills a bunch of people, tries to get out, is trying to get its own gear back from this kid, basically.
So
but
it wasn't dead.
No, and they didn't restrain it well enough, which is like if you bring an alien and anyway, but then the army sniper, he gets captured, and they basically throw him into this moving bus of loonies, like a bunch of ex-army people who are all crazy, and they end up breaking free of the army and trying to go out and save this guy's son. So it's a hodgepodge of these people, plus Olivia Munn, who gets brought in on it, and they're trying to stop the Predator and figure out what's going on. That is the synopsis. If you are a diehard Predator fan, there are things you might like in this movie. There's plenty of callbacks, some desperately shameless ones that really make me sick, because they are so forced, these lines. Oh my God. We'll get to it in spoilers, but some of it is just, it just feels like a slap in the face. I scoffed plenty of times at this movie. Also, the writing is really, really bad. It's like that. It's very, think of like the 1980s kind of cheesy, campy action films, and crank that dial up to like 11, 12, or maybe even 13. So you have these people who basically, when they converse with one another, all they do is swear. Like they constantly swear at one another and say some weird things. And Thomas Jane, who's in this movie, who played Punisher back in the day, has Tourette's. So that's fun because he can just swear sometimes and say really weird things, especially to women, because that's fun.
That guy's in. I knew I recognized him.
Yeah.
I knew it.
Some okay kind of fight things, some egregious CGI, some really, really bad CGI.
Really?
And the super Predator that's after them doesn't wear a helmet. And it's weird. She's like, that thing made an exoskeleton underneath it, and like it doesn't really look like it. It's just, I don't know if this is really a Predator movie. There are predators in it. It's called The Predator, and they even make jokes about saying like, oh, that's not really a predator. It's like a big game hunter, because it's not really, preying on things. In good conscience, if you have a good group of friends and you're really bored, like so bored, maybe I would give this honestly like a 4 or 5 out of 10. It's disappointing, maybe even lower. It made me feel like I wasted my time, and I love the Predator, and there's some cool thing at the end where you're like, okay, this has a cool direction, but I still feel like Predators that came out a while ago, that's like a much better film. So
yeah, even though guess what? The Predator at the box office is on track to beat all previous Predator films.
How much did it make that last weekend?
Yeah, its box office tracking is healthy. Reports the film is expected to win the weekend at the box office, taking in somewhere between 25 and 32 million.
Ooh.
If it hauls in over 25 million, it will officially earn the distinction of having the best opening weekend for a standalone Predator film yet. For comparison, Alien vs. Predator had a $38 million opening. The previous Predator record holder was 2010's Predators,
Yeah.
which earned 24 million over its opening weekend.
I wonder what the budget was on this film. Does it say that? Can you see that? If not,
We'll
that's
find
fine.
out. Cue the elevator music.
I'm still going. But yeah, so if you're a really big Predator fan, there might be something in here that you would like, but it's difficult because they don't really introduce anything super new that you haven't really seen before in one way or another, and that's really unfortunate. Yeah. I don't know, man. It's just a sigh of a movie. Yeah. Joe, did you get the budget yet, or can I flip the old spoiler switchy?
Oh, God.
What?
Ew. It has... Oh, God. It cost $88 million to make.
Oh, no.
It cost $88 million to make.
Okay, so
and they had some stupid people on board, clearly.
Okay, so here's the weird thing. Shane Black directed this. He also directed Iron Man 3, and he was in the original Predator film. I like Shane Black. If you watch The Nice Guys, it's a funny movie. I don't know what happened here. It's so weird. Like, the writing, all the characters suck. Like, they all suck.
Yeah.
They're all the worst. I don't know.
They had enough to get Olivia Munn in on it.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to flip it, Joe. Hold on a sec.
Domestic earnings, 24.6 million. International earnings, 30.6 million. Total box office take as of opening weekend was $55,309,455. 13 of those dollars were Jimmy Goods, hard-earned money.
Yeah, I know. That was only 5, thankfully. Tuesday.
Thankfully, only 5. Okay.
Yeah, they have to double that to make it profitable.
Flip it, bro.
All right, I'll flip it. Oh my gosh, the spoilers! There's so many good spoilers.
I can't help it.
So, have we talked about this? I love the Predator. I think that race is so cool. We talked about this where it's like, you love the Xenomorph, I love Predator. I just don't even know. I don't even know, man. I don't...
Rank it.
Amongst the Predator films?
AVP included.
Oh my God. It's been so long since I've seen 2.
Predator 1, Arnold Schwarzenegger. Predator 2 with
I'd say
Danny Glover.
Okay. Predator 1, Predators. They're so close for me. Just there's so much more going on in Predators. Like Predator 1 is straightforward.
Yeah. And it could be very straightforward because this is the first time you ever see it.
Yeah, maybe Predator 2 as a Predator movie. I put Alien versus Predator, here, and then Requiem underneath that. This movie is like right next to Requiem at the bottom.
Ooh,
yeah.
Okay. That makes sense. That's about where I figured it'd fall as I saw more and more.
Let's talk about some egregious stuff. One of the ones, and there are 2 lines, but the one I'm going to just say is one of the worst. So the guys break out of their prison bus, like all the crazy guys and the snipers with them or whatever. And they look over and they see some CGI motorcycles, I believe. And he's like, hey man, let's get to the choppers. So it's like the get to the chopper. And I was like,
shut up.
Yep.
And why were there CGI motorcycles?
I don't know if they looked that way. They could have, but then they get on motorcycles, and then, oh God, they do this, and this drives me nuts in movies. There's a few things that started to drive me crazy in movies. So they're like, Olivia Munn, who had been chasing the regular Predator because she wanted to trank it and bring it back, jumped on the bus because the bus was leaving this military base at the same time, and then she fell off of it, and then they were the loonies and the sniper guy were gonna leave her. So they go get their motorcycles. Some guard comes up and is like, yeah, take out the biologist. She like knows too much. Like, what? Okay, why?
What?
Like, after the Predator murders all the other scientists, just about, they're gonna kill her. So a guy walks
The
up.
normal Predator.
Yep.
Please distinguish the two.
Yes, I will. It's this normal Predator. We'll talk about Super Steroid Boy.
Is normal Predator cool in this?
Has a few moments when he's tearing up the lab. It's the best scene because it wakes up and then it just starts murdering people, and it's so good because he like, what does he do? He grabs something. It grabs something and just like stabs someone in the eye with something, and then just it takes a gun eventually. It gets just like an M16 and it shoots like this. It's like it just like shoots like it's swinging a sword. So it'll like 2 or 3 dudes that'll be in a hallway will be like like
That's
that.
like 1980s style, man.
It's very, dude, but it has a few things with like chucking people and like ripping them.
Okay.
This one bites. Oh, it bites a dude. Yeah.
Really?
Like, yeah, because the guy gets too close to its face, and then it's like, and it's like with his little mandibles, and he's like, like, yeah, pretty good.
Now I almost want to see it, even if it's kind of hokey, whatever. It sounds like it's got some.
That moment's the best, and then the rest of it's trash. So this guard comes up to Olivia Munn. They're like, you gotta take her out, and he's like, okay, and he gets the gun out, and he's gonna shoot her. She's like, please don't. And then out of nowhere, no noise or anything, our hero, the sniper, takes the motorcycle and slams into the guard and knocks him away. And I'm like, wait, you didn't hear a chopper coming? Like a... And then because she's kind of, she accidentally tranks herself. God, this is so stupid with that trank gun in the front. So she's loopy. So she gets on the motorcycle and sits like facing him. So she's all like,
Oh, and they were in love from that moment forward.
No, thankfully they don't make a love thing with them, but they go to a motel where they have her like asleep on the bed, and all the guys are like watching her, and they put like a bunch of little trinkets around her. So when she wakes up, it won't be weird. And they're all just like staring at her. So when she wakes up, the first thing he does, she grabs a shotgun that's nearby, and they're all like, oh, like one of the guys like, I told you she'd go for the shotgun. I told you. And sniper guy walks up to her, and they kind of like pay their bets. He goes to grab it, and then she like pulls the trigger, and then they're all like, oh my God, I can't believe it. She pulled the trigger. Like, yeah, pay up, boys, pay up. I knew she'd shoot.
That's cool. So
but no. And then immediately following that, Thomas Jane says some really horrible thing to her because he's got Tourette's. And then they go back and forth on this for like a minute, and it's really weird. And it's Olivia Munn just swearing like the whole time. Oh, and I forgot to mention that earlier, to get into this laboratory where original Predator or Vanilla Pred is, you have to get decontaminated. And to do that, Joe, you have to strip down completely naked. And so it's her and this other guy in these 2 little stalls. And so they're like, oh, we have to get her naked in this movie because that's just what you do. They, like... you don't see anything, but the whole like point of it is so stupid. And then later, when she tries to leave the lab, she has to like also get decontaminated to leave or something. So she has to get all naked again. So she has to be like naked and crouched and scared as the Predator walks in, sees her, assumes she's not a threat, and then walks away. It's like, movie is so shameless. They're like, all right, how do we get naked Olivia Munn and Predator in the same scene? How do we do that? You're killing me. You're killing me. Like, so stupid. Okay. Super Pred shows up with his dogs, which, you know, we've seen the dogs in the past.
Why?
Because he's hunting the other Predator, because you find out later on that Vanilla Pred wanted to come to Earth to give the humans something to fight off the other Predators. For some odd reason.
Whoa.
We don't know.
Vanilla Pred kills a bunch of humans. Like...
That's so true. I don't know. It's very, very odd. Basically, the thought is that global warming...
Predator?
Huh?
Tell me what Super Predator is before we get into him.
Super Predator is like an 11-foot tall predator that's like all souped and jacked up. He can like make an exoskeleton underneath his skin, which doesn't make sense. So he's like bulletproof.
Exoskeleton.
Yeah, doesn't have the helmet. Has like a few weapons he brings with him, but it's very weird. It's not that cool. It doesn't really have any armor.
Does he like rank somewhere? Because there's like elders that are like the
he would.
of
I think honestly,
clans.
right now he would technically be the strongest of any predator we've ever seen.
Yeah, and they don't I guess, yeah, because these people are like, what the hell's a predator? They just named him Predator.
Yeah.
So they don't, there's no like information or background on him to know like.
No, he's just a jacked up like super predator. So basically what the predators have been doing has been going from planet to planet, collecting DNA from all the people and like every natural denizen to upgrade themselves to make themselves to be like the best. So that's how they can compete with like a xenomorph, is that they just keep upgrading themselves somehow. And that's what the super predator is. He's got these, but he doesn't have any abilities that would be different except for that exoskeleton thing, which I was like.
And he's maybe a bit stronger.
He does seem pretty ripped, and he's hard to take down. But anyway, so Super Pred shows up with the dogs. Dogs go out. They're gonna get this kid because the kid's he's the linchpin, man. The little kid with the tech and stuff. Pitbull comes out. Movie surprisingly Pitbull friendly. Pitbull doesn't die, but he comes and defends the kid after barking at him earlier. They're shooting at these dogs for a long time because the army guys show, like the crazy ex-army guys are there. And one of them walks up and shoots one of the dogs in the head, but it just makes it like lobotomized. So now it's a nice dog. So now it's like a dog you can play fetch with, and it kind of helps you out whenever you want it to.
Does it seriously follow him around and help?
Kind of, yeah.
No. Really?
Yeah, and it's like, okay, this would kind of work, but then they're also like pretty afraid of it most of the time. So it's like you got to decide one way or the other if it's going to be like your buddy or if it's going to be like an enemy.
What
anyway,
to the other dog?
They show a shot of it running across a field at one point, and then nothing. And I was like, okay.
And you never see it again?
No.
Are you serious? So it's just out there.
Yeah. Basically, though, let's just skip ahead. Super Pred catches up with regular Pred. I think he bashes his skull in. It's a lot of green blood everywhere. And then heroes end up dying to stop Super Predator because Super Predator basically wants to take some of the human race, the next step in the evolutionary chain, which they say in this case is the main character's son, who has Asperger's, because they say, yeah, apparently experts say that the next step for humans are people with these kind of high functioning disability type of individuals. And so he's going to take this kid back to the predator homeworld and extract his DNA so the predators can be stronger. Of course, that doesn't happen. And most of the people die, and it's supposed to be sad, but I just don't care. And they end up killing him. And then at the very end, the crazy thing happens where there's like another pod that was on the ship. I was like, what's in that pod? And I was thinking, holy crap, is it going to be like Adrian Brody from Predators, where it's like they took like a predator slayer and they just brought him back to Earth? I was like, is it another predator? Is it a xenomorph egg? Or is it something to be like, hey guys, we're still doing something? No, it's a thing that shoots out and latches onto the scientists, and it like goes all over like Iron Man armor. It makes you look like the CG was a little weird, a sick predator that's got like 6 arm cannons, and it's supposed to be like the predator slayer. And so it puts it on, or like he gets on the side, just like, and it like looks around, and it like comes off the scientist, and like, holy crap, what was that? And of course, the army sniper guy, who's back in the army now, and they're like, you're not crazy. He's like, looks like it's my new suit. And I'm like I was like, why don't you let's just start there. Like, let's just start with the crazy predator suit thing, because basically they're using predator technology throughout this film as humans, like invisibility bead to make yourself like, sneak up on people. They like the helmet and stuff that has like a little missile. Oh, by the way, one of my favorite moments in this movie, it's Halloween, kids trick-or-treating, and these other kids, these bullies, I've been mean to him a lot. And so he took the predator helmet, duct taped it to his head, and he's got the gauntlet on. Goes up to a house to avoid the bullies.
Gauntlet on, like the bomb?
It's not that one, and they don't necessarily. I was like, somebody's gonna set off this bomb. Set the bomb up.
Screw you, bullies!
It's like the glaive one. It just shoots like a glaive. But
yeah.
He goes, knocks on the door. Nobody answers, and the kids are making fun of him. They're like, "Oh, kid, you're so stupid! Like, no one's gonna answer this." And this guy comes out of the house, like upstairs. They're having like a rock party or whatever, and he's like, "Oh yeah, trick or treater, yeah, here's your Halloween," and he's gonna throw something, and he throws something at the kid. The helmet basically has one of those built-in missile launchers built into it, so it comes out, turns around, shoots through the dude, and blows up the house. And then these bullies like watch this kid inadvertently murder this guy. And the kid
and
like
everybody in the house.
Yep. Kid takes the helmet off, looks at the bullies, and kind of does like a lurch forward. The bullies just like truck it. The kid's just like, and kind of like, I think he drops the helmet or something. He's like, I'm kind of done with this. I'm like, you just killed those people.
Came out of the helmet? What?
Yep.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, there's some inadvertent, gory, jokey stuff in this movie.
I thought you were gonna say he had like the glaive on, and he accidentally goes to grab the candy, and he shoots it through
somebody else gets the glaive through like the stomach, and the sniper guy in the beginning gets the glaive, puts it on, accidentally uses it, and chops like one of his friends who had gotten killed in half, or it hits the predator, and it also hits this guy too that's been strung up. And so the predator's laying down all cloaked, but then the blood starts hitting on him so that you can see him. For some reason, they decided to make the predator have like CGI eyes, like actual eyeballs for some reason. It's like, guys, you don't need to do this. Like you make a suit. You can make a suit. You
can buy them on eBay. They look pretty legit.
I don't know. It just didn't feel like a Predator movie, and it felt like Requiem, where it was like, let's take place in the suburbs and not be that interesting. Kind of a waste of time. Yeah. Man.
I don't know. You had me at Olivia Munn was in it, so I'll go see it.
I like Olivia Munn, but she is wasted in this movie. She's wasted in a lot of movies. She's not just a pretty face. She's a pretty good actor, too. Again, like Jeff Daniels at The Newsroom, she's really good in that movie, but it's mostly like, how many times can we get her to swear and also maybe be naked and then like have all these guys, like especially one guy, try to hit on her a lot. It's just like, she's so much better than this. Yeah, so again, maybe like a 4 out of 10 for me. I wouldn't recommend it.
I'll give it a 4.3 out of 10.
From the man who hasn't seen it. I do want you to watch it, Joe, just as a Predator and Alien fan. I would love to hear what you think, but at the same time, I just go in with super low expectations because there have been better Predator films. Way better Predator films.
Yeah.
And it's like $88 million budget. They're going to have to make like $176 million or something to break even, right?
Oh, Disney. Yeah, probably. They've made 50, just over 50.
Disney, please either take Predator and make it great or just give it to somebody else. Because like I saw that Fox thing pop up at the beginning and I was just grinning ear to ear. It was like, I'm like, bye-bye. I was like, so long, farewell.
Were you waiting for like Mickey Mouse to pop up in the corner of the screen like, oh, it's ours now?
Yeah. Oh, this is going to be one of our Netflix shows. I mean, Hulu shows. I mean, Disney Play shows.
Whichever. Take your pick.
I would love it so much if Disney's like, yeah, we're just going to buy Netflix too. Yeah, I
nonchalant, like, yeah, we bought that.
I hope this is the same thing that I hope for Venom. I think that this film it'll do okay. Not super great like it sounds like right now, but all right. But it just shows that there is a love for this character or these characters, and maybe that somebody somewhere out there will be able to implement and use them in a proper way, because this is not it. It just feels very childish and sophomorish, and I feel like that's probably what they were going for. But that 80s camp, it is a little hard to stomach nowadays. It feels very dated, and the effects don't look super good. So yeah, lots of head scratchers. I wish I could have seen this with somebody, because I was by myself and I was just like, I was literally scoffing out loud at some of these jokes. Because like at one point she says in the beginning to it, because there's that classic line where Arnie says, "You're one ugly mother effer." She leans into Predator, Vanilla Pred, at the lab, and she's like, "You're one beautiful mother effer." And I'm like, what, who talks like this? Like who would
nobody. A bad writer talks like that. A bad writer.
It's like, let's do homages. Homage. There's an homage here. I was like, oh my god, just man. Anyway,
do it. Kill me. I can't even do an Arnold.
Have that in there, which is fine. Yeah, this movie is like unintentionally really funny. Like some of the deaths are like supposed to be sad, and I was like, bye. I was like, when I first saw all the loonies, I was like, perfect. The cannon fodder's here.
Yeah, that's immediately what I would think.
All the scientists.
Somebody's got to die here, right?
I just wanted to watch original Predator go around and just do his thing and get a little bit of that, but it's not the same.
And when you take a Predator, I mean, I get that we know what's under the mask, but when you put the mask on him and the tech and stuff, that's what makes a Predator.
Yeah, that's part of my favorite thing. It's like the Green Goblin. I love that it's like the superpower and the strength and all that, but also the tech. And that Super Predator didn't really have much of that. It just had like the arm gauntlet. And it
right?
Exactly. You don't get anything interesting or cool. And it wasn't like way smarter than everybody. It was just like pretty dumb. And I'm excited to see where the next one would go, but I don't think that'll happen. So anyway, Joe, any closing questions or thoughts?
Excuse me. Sounds like it may be the last Predator we ever see.
No, I think it'll come back. I just think Disney, you know what I honestly think they'll do? They're either going to trade Alien and Predator for Spider-Man or something, or they're going to say, hey, you know what? Kevin Feige had a really good idea and everybody else is trying to do it. Let's show them we can double down. We're going to make an Alien and Predator shared universe that is going to be not under the Disney banner, but it's going to be under one of our other banners so people don't associate Disney with murder and death. But we're going to make a shared space universe, and that is what was going to happen, and we're going to make it really good. Like, that's what I really hope.
And Predator into Star Wars.
Predator would work better because you can't. The xenomorph's just too visceral. I don't know how you do it. You know, like at least the Predator's got the laser blaster, so you can kind of like engage at a distance. Xenomorph is going to be like Han Solo, just.
I wasn't serious.
Okay, or like Storm. I would watch a movie where a bunch of stormtroopers got in between an Alien versus Predator pyramid. Holy crap, that would be incredible. What do they call it? Like Star Wars : AVP. People would be so pissed. I would love it. I'd be like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever seen. There's a bunch of stormtroopers like, they just can't shoot anything. All the blasts, there's like 1,000 aliens coming at them. They just can't hit anything. Yeah, all right. Well, that's enough for me. If you saw Predator, let us know in the comments below if you enjoyed it, or if you were interested in seeing it, or if you're like, Jimmy, you're completely wrong. It was amazing. Or Jimmy, I completely agree with you. Either sounds good.
I'm interested in seeing it. I just don't want to pay money for it, and I want to do it in the comfort of my own home.
Yep. There's a lot of movies I keep seeing nowadays where I'm like, I can't wait to stream that. What was it? There was a trailer for one the other day when I was like, I can't wait to stream this. I watched 25 minutes worth of trailers. What was it? It wasn't Aquaman, which they did play that trailer. It was like, all right. I don't know what it was. Oh, Overlord. It's that one where it's like World War II, but there's like zombies and stuff happening. I don't know if you've seen the trailers for this, Joe. It's kind of interesting. But I was like, that's probably a streamer. Probably stream that. Anyway, Joe, it's time to move into that segment of the show that I like to call, you like to call, we like to call...
Timekillers.
That's right, it's time for Timekillers, the games we've been playing, movies we've been watching, TV shows we've been viewing. I'll just go quick here. Like I said, I watched Predator. That's kind of the big one recently. And one other thing, and it's just been a week of sighs for me because I watched Ocean's 8, and holy cafoley, did that movie want to be Ocean's 11. I don't think anybody had fun making that movie. It didn't seem that way. I watched this, and there is little to no chemistry amongst any of the cast members. The heist is kind of boring, and there's just so much that I felt like it should have wrapped up faster than it did, and I was really sad because I really like I should say I like Ocean's 11 and I like Ocean's 13. I do not like 12. 12 is not good, but this was just really sad. And it's Kate Blanchett and Sandra Bullock, and like I think
what did they call this one again?
Ocean's 8. Yeah. And spoiler alert.
How was our girl Riri?
Rihanna's pretty good, but she gets into that classic like hacker role where she's just staring at computers a lot and typing. It's a lot of just like, and they also spoil a lot of like the big major twist in this film in the marketing for this one because it's a numbers game, and if you don't count to 8, you're probably late. You're probably thinking, wait a second, there's only 7 of them. You're right. You're darn right. Yeah. It's just, and it wanted so badly to be Ocean's 11, Joe. Like I was like, you could see the characters who were supposed to be that character, but from the little time we get with almost all those characters in that first movie, I feel like there's way more cohesion and interesting things. It's I wish they wouldn't have just gone with this branding and they would have just done a heist movie that didn't have to follow this formula, because I just don't think it works. You need to have a bigger cast, or you need to have people who are more excited to be there, because it was a lot of just like, yep, good job. Good on you. It wasn't like the back and forth. Oh man. Which sucks because it's got a good cast and they deserve better. Anyway, yeah, Ocean's 8. I don't know. But besides that, watching Dragon Ball Z, which is still great. And I finished the second season of The Good Place, which weirdly I like that show. It's a weird moral quandary
What's
of
it
a show.
called?
The Good Place.
Okay.
Basically, here's the premise, quick. 4 people die, go to the afterlife, are told they are in the good place or like heaven, but maybe that's not necessarily the case. Maybe. It's kind of confusing, but it's just an interesting show, and they get into some ethics and stuff. It's supposed to be kind of a comedy. It's on Netflix. Check it out. Yeah, that's pretty much all I need to say right now. Joe.
Okay.
Oh, last thing, I have to mention this for Missile Mage. I played Road Trip a few weeks ago, and Bombastic, 2 games he sent me on PlayStation 2. Joe, you'd love this Road Trip game. You play as a car that just drives around, goes to different towns back on the PS2, and you run into other cars to talk to them. It's a great, jolly game. It's really weird, but it's wonderful. And you just drive around doing little races and stuff with people. There's like a little Tokyo Japanese style town. There's like a Las Vegas town. It's good. Check it out. Road Trip, PS2. There you go. All right, Joe.
Okay.
Please.
Been playing a lot of Madden, playing a lot of Battlefield 1 because Battlefield 5 got me hooked a little bit.
Catch in the mood.
Battlefield 1 is a good game. I just like the more advanced weaponry a little bit. I'm not talking futuristic stuff. I'm talking like modern, you know? I have also been... Yeah, nothing else. That's about it.
Okay.
Been playing a little bit of Witcher. Played a little bit of Witcher on Sunday. Made it through one little level, and that's where I called it.
Joe, and that was a great thing because Beating Down Brian asked us in the comments to do this, and maybe this wouldn't happen every week, but I kind of wanted to do just like a little Witcher check-in to make it more of a multiplayer experience. What did you play? This is the Witcher hour, as it were. Like, tell us just like a little bit of it, because we gotta know.
In all honesty, it's kind of tough. I don't have enough drive to want to figure out every little what's the word?
Detail.
Yeah, there are so many details to it, and it's like, okay, what do I need to really be effective as against this guy? I find myself looking things up. I'm like, how do I get that fixed? Okay, I figured that. All right. How do I... So I can't even get a new sword until I get all this stuff? Like, what? Okay, so to do that, I need to find more of this? Jeez. Like, there's so much to it. It's enough to like stall you in the story majorly. They're like in my mind, it's like, whoa, slow down. You don't want to see that next creature. You want to go find some things, huh? Take a stroll in the woods. I mean, it's all right. I'm loving the whole cinema aspect of it. It's pretty. I love the environments. The environment gets me the most. It's like Sleepy Hollow with Johnny Depp is one of my favorite movies ever because of the setting mainly. Loved it. This gives me those vibes a lot. I haven't gotten very far. I just turned the Baron's what do they call the little
Lumberkin?
I turned it into a lumberkin. It was what was it before it was a lumberkin? I turned it into a lumberkin. It was a botchling. It was a botchling.
Yes, the
botchling. Turned it
botchling.
into a lumberkin. I went and found
you saved it.
Yeah, I saved it. I thought about killing. Well, I tried killing it first. Didn't work out very well.
What happened?
I feel like it was punishing me for picking the wrong direction. I was like, damn it.
Wait, what happened if you tried to kill it?
It was really hard to fight.
Yeah.
Like I didn't have the patience to fight it, to be honest. Like I was slowly taking down its health. Slowly.
Did it transform like into like a little like troll thing to fight?
Yeah.
Or okay.
Yeah, like a little bit more of a ganglier, bigger thing.
Okay.
Ugly little thing. And when it turns into a lumberkin, it's just an astral projection ghost thing now.
Yeah.
But it still looks as ugly as it did.
Yeah, it's a little floating baby.
Yeah, baby with like 4 rows of teeth and a long tongue.
Yeah.
I suck your blood like a vampire. It's missing a nose.
So you're loving it, basically, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I'm kind of liking it. I am. I'm liking it. You know, when I was transporting the botchling to bury it at the front hearth of the door, it was like these freaking wraiths. It took me like 5 tries to fight the wraiths.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because I have no patience and I wasn't just giving them 2 swipes and then dodging and then attacking them again. Like there's clearly a pattern to everything you fight.
Yeah, did you ever put that sigil on the ground? I forget what it's called.
Yeah, that trap one, I forget what it's called too. But no, I didn't use that. I actually used the Igni sign and I just kept doing more damage to them and I would just dodge because I knew where they were going to pop up every time they disappear. So I would just, okay, there's where you're going to be. Boom, boom, boom. Back off. Oh, there you are again. Boom, boom, boom. And,
How did you know where they're going to be? Oh, yeah, Yurden.
They always pop up on the opposite side of you to get you.
Yeah. Nice.
But it was tough at first. I was like, oh, I see. Okay. And I read online it's either the trap one, which I tried initially, and I did have some luck. I got pretty far. But then the one guy's like, just use the Igni and make sure you dodge every 2 hits. I'm like, okay, good.
Have you fought like a noon wraith yet?
No.
Just have to fight a wraith at noon. That's their specific to. You gotta level up that Igni, Joe, until you get to turn to like a 3rd-person shooter. It's like you get like a flamethrower. You're like,
seriously?
Yeah, and it's also super good on regular people because like if you catch like a regular person on fire, they're like basically stunned because they're like like so you do that's like 4 dudes and then you're like just
okay, so I will enjoy that.
Very fun.
Yeah, so Lumberkin led me to the daughter, yada yada. I'm over there doing that whole thing. What have I done since then? Ooh, I feel like I was going to fight something that didn't work out for me. Oh, I tried fighting some like it's like a higher level ghoul or something.
Okay.
And it like 2-shotted me. Like it hit me twice and I was dead. I don't know what it was, but I just stumbled across it in the woods. God, there was something I was doing. There was another mission I was on. Forgot what it was. Oh, I had to go back and talk to the Baron and all that.
Oh, sure.
I don't know. I mean, is it a little drag-on type of deal? No. I mean, I think it's accurate to what an RPG should be. You know, you're out and about. You're doing it, man. So it's fun. It's good for those days where I literally have nothing going on. Just let's get a little time, immerse ourselves a little bit. So that's all I got.
Cool. I like these updates, so I appreciate that.
We'll keep them coming. If I can keep it going weekly, I'll try.
Yeah, and I just hope you're liking it. It sounds like you are to some extent.
I am. It's good.
I feel like Monster Hunter is just opening doors. Anyway, Joe, it's time to move in. So I want to make sure I've got the right the
segment that I like to call, that you like to call, we all like to call
community feedback and questions. Like we do that every time. I'm not doing that.
A little bit, you were shaking a little bit. You were so angry.
I was so angry. I was like, "How dare they write in?" I'm always asking for questions. Finally, thank you for writing in your questions. But also, it's also Talk Like a Pirate Day, Joe, which is interesting. You know, pirates. I think of that, and where I'm from, Minnesota, the Vikings are our team. And it's fun to think nowadays. And we still have real pirates in the world, but like we kind of romanticize pirates and Vikings, but really they were kind of not great.
The worst of the worst.
Yeah. But I did ask everybody, who is your favorite pirate and or what is your favorite pirate ship of all time, real or fictional? And you have to answer like a pirate one. So Joe, do you have a favorite pirate or favorite pirate ship? Yeah, you got one of those, man? You got a favorite pirate ship?
The Black Pearl was pretty cool in the first movie.
Yeah. Well, like a pirate, Joe. How would a pirate say it?
The Black Pearl was pretty cool in the first movie.
The first talking picture we saw.
Yeah, there we go.
I loved it. It was so much better than the candlelight shadow puppets I used to do.
Damn.
For me it was Barbosa. He's a true pirate. See, I tell ya, Savvy, he's the best. But we had people write in, which is great. Thank you. Missile Mage writes him. Well, Balthier would be my pick from Final Fantasy 12. Any self-respecting leading man would expect to be mentioned on such a list. Oh, here we go. And Anna says, oh, she did it perfectly here. Little Red Rider here on Twitter.
Female pirate.
It'd be Captain Jack Sparrow and his Black Pearl. A classic nostalgic of my youth when I saw the first Pirates of the Caribbean. He's quite a comical man, and one mustn't forget the legends of the Black Pearl. Very good job, Anna.
Very well said. That was the scariest female pirate I've ever heard.
I'm sorry, I can't. If I try to make it female, it's just gonna be bad. So I take it up an octave, like
You gotta do it.
I can't do it. I thought it was a good one though. I think the Black Pearl is so cool. I like the Flying Dutchman, and I think like the Queen Anne's Revenge from like real and fictional, but like that's a cool one. And Teach, freaking Blackbeard. Blackbeard is nuts.
From real and fiction.
Yeah, because I think of like their rendition of it in Stranger Tides, or on Stranger Tides. They did Blackbeard and the Queen Anne's Revenge.
Yeah, which was a cool ship. Now tell me, you just said real life. What?
Yeah, well, Blackbeard was a real pirate, and the Queen Anne's Revenge was a real ship.
Where is it?
We gotta go. We have to go now. Which is weird to think of how powerful those things were back in the day, and like if you could explain to a pirate how ships would be presented, let alone like planes, and they're like, so what you be telling me is you get a ship and it flies through the sky, and they'd be like, yes,
very fast, 500 miles an hour on a bad day.
Could I stand on the deck? He'd be like, well, if it was a helicarrier, yes. Which we haven't gotten there yet because
our boats are much faster and the guns are much bigger and faster.
I like the idea of the helicarrier, but when you really think about it, if you lose one engine and you're that high up in the sky on a giant freaking aircraft carrier,
one of those. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
That's nuts. Anyway, questions for this week, Joe. This one comes in from Missile Mage, #critical podcast. That's how you reach us. I said, most characters in movies and video games wear the same outfit throughout the entire piece. If you could have one of their outfits for daily use, whose outfit would you choose? Same outfit. I always think of like cartoon, like you saying, like Doug or The Simpsons or somebody like that who's just like the same thing every day.
Yeah, but then I think of like The Witcher 3. You're changing it up all the time.
Yeah, but so Geralt's not necessarily one of those people. What did he say? He said movies too?
Wait, what's he saying?
Most characters in movies and video games wear that same piece of clothing. Okay, so yeah, Joe, it's throughout the entire piece.
Yeah, and like in certain games do a good job of allowing you to mix it up, especially role playing, which it should. You're able to change your clothing. I like that.
But he's saying that you have to pick just that stock one.
Yeah, so find somebody that's got a stock look.
Spider-Man? Can I pick Spider-Man? Yeah, can I pick Spider-Man?
Oh, no, because in the most recent Spider-Man, he changes it up all the time.
I would pick Nathan Drake from Uncharted because he wears like a white t-shirt, jeans, and like a bandolier. Like that would be what I would wear. I'd be like, yep, it's pretty much what I normally wear. Like not the bandolier, but I just wear little straps.
I would pick the Tracer outfit from Overwatch.
Yes, it's better than I could have imagined. I was going to make you be Link. No, you got to be. I know I ask for so much, Legionnaires. If you do that fan art, I'd be much obliged.
No. Oh, God.
I'll get a full body shot of Joe for you.
Mighty plump in those trousers.
Dude, think of how cool it'd be, though, if you were that fast and you could go back in time and they're like, he can't be that fast. And you're like, whoop, whoop, whoop. What just happened?
Where is he? Right here. God.
This Tracer outfit is maybe the best thing you could have said.
Okay, but technically it doesn't work because you could change your skins. So I'm going to go with, does changing the camo or colorway count? Or does that have to be a total outfit?
It has to be a total outfit, just their
Okay,
regular.
good.
Just
So I'm picking a Titanfall suit from Titanfall.
No, you got just the full.
Yeah, dude, that's what I want. That's
All
what
the time.
I
The
want
helmet
it.
and everything. That's a
Yeah,
good
the
one.
helmet and everything, heads up display, freaking jetpack, wall running stuff. Suck on that.
Because you said Tracer, I'm just gonna let you have this because I was gonna say we'll have to force you into a specific character because these pilots are just it's like
There was a campaign.
Yeah,
There was a campaign. I forget his name, but there was a campaign.
I remember BT. BT was the name of the.
I remember BT. Yeah.
BT's great. I freaking love BT. He's like, you gotta trust me. He's like, hold on. Or he's like, what?
Yeah.
Checks you. Yeah, I love BT. Yeah. Oh, I just looked up. I saw Darth Vader. I know that's kind of a cheat for an outfit. I think what he's trying to get at is if you had to wear just like regular kind of clothes every day.
I do that now.
From like,
I haven't taken this hoodie off since the last time we recorded.
That's good. That's good.
I swear.
Yeah. That's what I stick with what I said. Anyway, next question. Great question, Miss.
Darth Vader, huh?
But I'd pick Nathan Drake. Just like because it's just like a class, and that's what when you think of him, you kind of usually think of that. This one comes in from Koala Fluff or Natalie over on our Discord. She says,
Koala Fluff.
Naming special moves, Joe. So naming like a cool move that you do. She says, which genres are okay with this and which ones should it not be included in? So for instance, like in anime, they're always like, this is my special super duper move. But like, would that be okay if they put that in like an action movie? Like you don't hear Iron Man.
Captain America.
Yeah, like Iron Man in the games, he'll scream out Unibeam, but in the movies, he's not like Universe. I mean, I would love it so much because every time he does it, I think, oh, that's the Unibeam. But he doesn't yell it, you know? Like the Cap doesn't go Stars and Stripes. Like
because it's horrible.
So which ones is it okay? Is it okay? I guess for me, it's anime, video games, stuff like that. Those aren't necessarily genres. But...
Yu-Gi-Oh's an anime. It's all in anime. I can't think of anything else that they do it in.
Well, what could they do it in though?
Nothing. It's just freaking weird.
I want to see an action movie do it where Tom Cruise does it and he does like a roll and he's like quadruple roll and it's like more than he needs to do and he just does like 4 somersaults on the ground and they're like, what the heck was that? He's like super spy and then he just like gets against a wall. They're like, what are you doing, Ethan?
And right there, you've pointed out how ridiculous it is.
What if he jumped off a building and had a scream where he's like, he called it like reckless abandon. He's like, reckless abandon. That he just jumped off of it or ran down a building. I would watch it.
See how comedic it sounds?
I suppose, but at the end of Ghost Protocol, he screams mission accomplished as she presses the button and it doesn't work right away. He's like, mission accomplished, which is really funny. Yeah, I think that's the thing. It can either be comedic or it can be super serious, but it has to be serious within the confines of something that was kind of comedic because it's like, oh, you're using like your best move. It's not like Darth Vader's like forced joke. Like, you know, it's not like saying it to people as he does it. Yeah, I think we got that, right? Right?
Okay.
Yeah. Also, maybe romantic comedies when they storm in at the last second to stop the wedding. You know, they kick down the door and be like, dramatic entrance.
I object.
Yeah. I object. Anyway, that's gonna do it for us this week. We had a lot to talk about. I think we got through most all of it in a pretty good clip there. But yes, we got, you know, if you ever have a question or a topic you want to send in to us at any time, if you're listening to this and you know it's like the middle of the weekend, middle of the night, just tweet us. You can just send us, you know, something over on the Twitters or on our Discord. All you have to do is tweet the hashtag Critical Podcast. You can tweet to either of us. You can tweet at our official account, which is at GoCritical. That's capital G and a capital C. Or you can tweet at me personally. I'm at JimmyGood013. Send me a good dog gif or a good super. Oh, give me like a Marvel meme. That's a good one too. But if you want to tweet at Joe, you can tweet at
Lever_627. That's Lever just like Beaver, only with an L.
Excellent. And if you want to come check us out on Twitch sometime, we're at twitch.tv/critical reviews. We're streaming there. I'm on Mondays and Fridays for the most part, and Levi's on usually Wednesday nights and sometime during the weekend. So stop by over there. It's a fun time. You'll see us playing some Dragon Quest XI or something or whatever. Maybe even some Spider-Man. Yeah, let's see. Oh, yeah, if you want to support the show, check out our Spreadshirt. You can go over there and check us out. We got some cool stuff. I'm getting some stuff for the boys. Eventually, we're going to be all decked out in Critical Reviews gear, and you can be too. Our good buddy Simon actually sent me a picture that he got a mug that says Critical Reviews on it. And I was like, yeah, that's sweet. That's really cool. So thank you for supporting us that way. That definitely helps a ton. I want to thank a few people. I want to thank, this is Zayla for our intro and outro music, our theme music here for the show. And I want to thank the one and only Joran Evers for providing pretty much all the art you see here on the show. Joran is actually working on something, and he's getting closer and closer to unveiling it to the world. But here's a brief synopsis to tide you over. When David opens a mysterious box that transforms his arm into an alien weapon, he at first uses it for good to right the wrongs of his high school. But as more of his body is transformed, he finds that playing God comes with its own set of new, self-destructive perils. It's like Venom meets Chronicle meets Blue Beetle. It's a comic that he's working on, and it's going to be great. It's going to be wonderful. So check him out over on Twitter, Joran Evers, and on Instagram. He's got some fantastic art. It's super, super good. And, oh, yeah, I want to talk about one other thing. I want to plug something else here, too. We actually just put out a video, Kratos, God of War, versus War from Darksiders. Clash, mano y mano, featuring the art of another one of our artists that we work with, Stephen Purifoy. Go check that out. It should be on the channel. Really good stuff. And thankfully, it seemed like both of the respective companies who make those games also liked that image. So it's really cool. So thank you, Stephen, for that. But yeah, if you want to support us, you want to support Joran, you want to support everybody make this podcast even better, make our shows higher quality, and just put some food in our bellies, which is great too. Check us out on patreon.com/critical reviews. That is the best place to hang out with us and support us and make your voice heard, because that's a place where you can definitely send us feedback along with in the comment section here. So please never hesitate to send us any thoughts about how we can grow and get better and what other stuff we should cover, because that's stuff we could use all the time. So thank you for supporting us in any way, even if it's the free ways, like liking this video, retweeting it, sharing it around, putting it on Facebook, sharing it with people and say, hey, you might like these guys, because that really, really helps us a lot. And we're trying our best to be just there all the time, and that's what the end game is going to be for some of us, for sure. So yeah, because apparently with Joe and his full-time job, we have to match that and add benefits and whatever, it's like, come on, Joe, like, can't you just take like $200 every couple of months? Like just, come on, man, just reduce that. Haley she'll be fine. It'll be great. She'll be the
breadwinner. All right.
Thank you. Perfect. Sounds good. Yeah, Joe's all in. He's perfect. Excellent. But thank you, Joe, for being on once again. It's fun to go back to the old school, the way we started it, just hanging out with just you. So thanks for listening to me go on about the Predator. Boy.
It was good. That was fun. I liked it. I wish I would have seen it so we could have both just threw rocks at it.
You can still go see it and then come back, and then we can still do the same thing. It'll be still fun. Whenever you see it eventually, I hope it's like one of those things where it's a Timekillers thing and you're like, yeah, guess what I watched? The Predator. And I'll be like, oh, here we go. Yes, it's happening.
Oh, and I'll be like, I loved it. The way you smashed that guy's face.
Yeah, there's some good kills, but there's a lot of CGI. Oh, God dang. I want them to introduce a new weapon, and they don't really. I mean, whatever. Anyway, but thank you, everybody, for being here, for listening to us, supporting us, hanging out with us. It really means a lot to us. I hope you enjoyed it. And until next week, just remember to adapt and overcome.